Hey everybody, and welcome to Dude's Brunch, a podcast where we talk about breakfast food and pop culture, but not necessarily in that order. With me, as always, are Sean Evans and Tyler Reed. Sean, how are you? What'd you have for brunch today?
I just had coffee, but I put milk in it. So,
Not
I,
black.
yeah, I wanted it to be cold, so I put milk in it. That was it, though. I really didn't have much breakfast today.
We feel for you, Sean. We're here for you if you need any help.
It's my day off. I don't make stuff on my day off.
Moving on, Tyler, how are you? What did you have for brunch today?
I'm Wonderbar. Alright, so I got a special delivery from Amazon today in which I got my single-serve smoothie blender. Had some hiccups. Turns out if you take frozen Greek yogurt, frozen spinach, frozen banana, frozen strawberries, all pretty sufficiently frozen, and throw it in a very small blender, it's gonna cause some problems. So I either need to.
Did you burn it out?
It definitely smelled a little bit like plastic, like burnt plastic. So hopefully it's not completely ruined. But there's always next time. And I also have been, like I said, making cold brewing coffee, and so I put it in my new insulated thermos water bottle hydro flask. So that's what I had for brunch, breakfast, lunch, until I go to work at Chipotle tonight.
How'd you take that coffee?
Huh? Oh, it's black.
How'd you take your coffee? There we go.
Nice black.
That means, ladies and gentlemen, if you're playing along at home on Dude's Brunch Bingo, Tyler Reed drank black coffee and you just got your first space. For those who aren't aware, we are playing Dude's Brunch Bingo for the first time this week. You can get the board in our Twitter stream or on our Facebook page, and if you're listening to this on the audio podcast, it'll be in the show notes. First person to tweet in with a bingo will get something from one of us eventually.
Big hug.
And here in Athens, Ohio, I'm your host, Taylor, and for brunch this morning, I had an egg and some toast and some non-black coffee because I'm a wuss. Moving in to the pop culture portion of the show, let's go ahead and get started. Who wants to go first this week? Anybody in particular?
Sure, let's do it.
Awesome. What are we talking about, Tyler?
Okay, so we are talking about Amazon Echo. So what that is that it's essentially a smart speaker, kind of. What it is it's a big black cylinder that you stick in a corner of the room, you plug into the wall because it doesn't run on battery, and you can be like, Alexa, something, blah, blah, blah. You can ask her basic questions. You can play music from her. You can do like weather reports, various menial tasks. And so first, I want to ask, who is this for? And I wanted to know if this was nondescript family was the ideal demographic for this sort of device.
So let's go ahead and start by saying that this is the worst ad of all time.
Whoa.
I think we all watched this together when it first came out.
This
It's
ad
just-
was worse than You Bet Your Sweet Asper Cream.
It's so bad. It's just like, boy, Amazon Echo sure is great. We sure are a family.
That's right.
And there are like awkward pauses everywhere. Ugh. So yeah, I think it probably is for a nondescript family that just needs another smart device in their house. One of the people that works at Rocky with me asked me the other day, they were like, so are you going to get an Amazon Echo? And I was like, no, what would I get that for? And they were like, I don't know, so you could like, make a grocery list with it and like play music. It's like, I have a smartphone. Like, it's all the parts of a smartphone that aren't the phone part.
Uh-oh, someone sounds like they're getting up in their 50s. I don't need a cell phone. I already got one in my house, attached to my wall.
No, like, I don't see the point of adding another physical device to my life if it does something that my other physical device already does better. Like Siri is
you
already
just
better
said
than
exactly
Amazon
what I
Echo.
just said, except I was making fun of you.
Yeah, piss off, Sean. What did you think of it? I hate you.
Taylor gets insulted.
Go ahead and mark that space.
I wasn't even trying for that either. I don't know. When I was listening to it, I first heard about it around Christmas. It was like on things to get that are creepy for somebody that you don't like for Christmas. And it weirded me out that they were always talking about, like, is Alexa always on? And I was like, this is really strange. It kind of reminded me of HAL 2.0. Is that what the robot is?
HAL 9000.
Yeah, HAL 9000. It was like, but I think she could probably hear you in the shower. If you like, had her somewhere. You know, she can't read lips, but she can definitely hear you. So
you're
I don't know. You won't see one of these in my home ever. No.
Sean's already off the grid already, so.
Yeah.
What about you, Tyler? You picked this topic. Do you want one? Do you want a talking trash can?
I would say that a fully functioning, able-bodied white family is probably not the ideal demographic actually for this product, because I think what it does is it does a lot of things that can assist people that maybe like can't use their hands as well as they could, or might not be able to like type as well, So I would say that for an advertisement, it didn't necessarily display the correct people, but obviously I don't think Amazon wants to be like, this is a device for disabled people. It doesn't make it feel as like universal as it could.
God forbid that Amazon actually puts out a product that actually helps people instead of commoditizing their every single internet thing that they do.
Right. Well, I do love cheaper prices, Sean.
Yeah.
So.
How much is it now? It was $99 when I first.
It's that was like the Prime member exclusive price. So it's like $179, I think.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And I would say that I was talking to Catherine about it, that if maybe the search functionality of it was a little bit better, I would totally get one. But it's like you can't really ask like complex questions. Like you can't like find like an IMDb like reference guide. Like if you're like, hey, is this actor from blah 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 blah, or
well,
like.
Let's just be serious though. You're asking this thing questions that you can't type in your phone. Like, does this word count in Scrabble?
Right.
That's my point. Is like, why? What's the point of spending $200 on that? Also, Amazon owns IMDb, so I'm kind of surprised that IMDb wasn't a part of it when it first came out.
They might. I'm not 100% on that, but like.
No, they really do. They actually do own it.
What I'm saying is, I'm not sure if it has access to like.
It doesn't.
It might. I don't know. I'm not aware. But like, you can't really ask it complex questions yet. So people were saying it's kind of like a dumbed down kind of Siri, in regards to like its, questions, which a Siri is already pretty limited in what you can do. But I think I have like hope for like what it'll eventually do. So I would not buy it right now. But if they had maybe made it a little bit stronger of an impression, like right off the bat, I would probably be more inclined to do that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Later on down the line, I'd probably buy myself one, but I'm hesitant to buy beta things all the time. Like I like the iWatch or the Apple Watch, but I just can't see myself buying one because I think next spring when the new one comes out, it's going to look so much better. It's going to be so much more complete.
Right.
And you didn't spend $1,000 on the gold-plated one that scratched up the second that it touched anything that wasn't your skin.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's the way that I work and the way that I interact with things. Like, I always have a device on me. So the Amazon Echo just doesn't seem all that useful to me.
Because it's like you probably don't want to use phones. Or maybe tablets, but definitely not a phone, Yeah,
I guess if you're the kind of person that doesn't have like your phone in your pocket all the time, or you're not sitting on the couch with your tablet, it would be a useful device. But I have something connected to the internet on my person pretty much all day, so
Mm-hmm.
My parents just throw their phones like in a corner somewhere, and then like they don't touch it at all.
That's mine too. It's like why do you have a smartphone if you literally come in the house and you put it on a table and then you walk away where you can't hear it?
Right. But we did make the switch to get rid of our landline, so I'm like, yes.
Still haven't
Oh,
done
I should delete that from my phone then, because I still have that.
Oh, well, we still use it for
it.
our Kroger Plus account, but it's...
Yeah, I was gonna say, can't you like just have your landline put on a cell phone or something?
That would be sweet. Well, not actually, because I don't actually. I take that back. That's a terrible idea, because then telemarketers are just gonna keep calling.
Well, then you can just turn it off. You can just.
Right.
Yeah, it's true.
I usually unplug your stuff from the wall or just have one phone maybe, but you still have to pay the phone company all that money for nothing.
Anyway, what else about the Echo? By the way, viewers and listeners, tweet in your thoughts on the Echo. Are you going to get one? Would you take one if somebody gave it to you? Would you throw the talking garbage can into the garbage can? Let us know.
Right. So currently, the names that you can call Echo, or at least that I'm aware of right now, are Amazon and Alexa. So I think that they're going to have options to expand that. How do you feel about Alexa being the flagship name for this device? Better or worse than Siri? What would you call your Echo?
So somebody on Twitter was saying that they got one to review it, and they were watching an episode of Castle, and there's a character on that show named Alexa.
Yeah.
And they had to unplug. Yeah, they had to unplug the Echo from the wall while they were watching the show because it kept turning on. Like, what do you want? What do you want? Every time a character said her name.
Ah.
And I was like, oh, that's really obnoxious. So you would have to either, you would either have to use like the Echo or Amazon or whatever, or give it something that you don't know anybody named that. Like you almost have to name it like a pet at that point, which just seems really weird to me.
Ruby Ruby Roo, where are you?
I was gonna name mine Hey or something like that.
Hey, what up, girl?
Hi.
It'd be awful.
But that's another question. So, actually, that is the question. So,
no human names, though.
How do you? So, do you like?
You wouldn't name yours a human name?
No. I'm gonna name one like a neighbor would name a cat. Like something that I would never ever say.
David just tweeted in at Dude's Brunch, read a tweet live, specifically so he can mark his face on bingo. That's awesome. So would you name it like, I don't know, Fluffy or some generic cat name?
No. I'd name it like
Big
Snuggle Buttons or something.
There you go.
It's like something that was like so oddly specific that it couldn't like interpret you just saying like something close.
Communist Manifesto.
Like a dog hearing certain words and they get all hyped up, and then not because they actually understand that you're saying the word treat, they just hear like eat and they're like, oh yeah, that's me. Stupid computers.
Computers, the new dogs.
Right. So I actually really want to know how you feel like Alexa compares to Siri in terms of name. Bad name, good name? Do you like Siri?
So I have a friend who can't say Siri. He says Suri, like Tom Cruise's daughter, every time. And he'll like say, hey Suri, to his phone, and I just like shake my head. So I think Alexa's probably better in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's like a real person's name.
Right. So what you're saying is that your friend is Tom DeLonge? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
That is what I'm saying. Foreshadowing!
Alright.
Sorry.
So Sean wants to call his Echo a cat name. Big Bubby.
Steven.
Poopy Doo. Taylor, what do you want to call your Echo?
I don't know. It would have to be something dumb. It would. I'd call it. I really hate the way they look. I think they look like trash cans, so I'd probably call it a trash can.
A Big Poppy.
Big Pop. David says, I'd name it piece of crap, but then it would turn on whenever I got into an argument with my family.
It's too many words.
You could name it a rude word. You can name
Alexa
it like
sounds like a stripper name. Thanks, Seth.
That is not a stripper name.
Not my. That's just what Seth said. I don't know.
Yeah.
Seth, I disagree. Sean would name his a stripper name, though. He would name it like Candy or Destiny.
Porsche.
It's like that scene, probably the best joke in Ted, the Seth MacFarlane movie, when they're like trying to guess the girl's name, and they're like, oh, something hyphen Lynn, Anna Lynn, Sarah Lynn, Jamie Lynn.
Hold on. Hold the phone. Taylor, you've seen Ted, but not
Forced me to watch
Guardians
it.
of the Galaxy.
I haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy, but I've seen Ted.
Well, you're
Outnumbered.
That doesn't mean I'm wrong. I'm just...
Yes, it does. On Dude's Brunch, that's exactly what
All right.
means. If you're outnumbered.
Okay,
you're
well,
wrong.
I'm just saying you're bad. That's all I'm saying. So.
There you go. T-shirt quote. If you're outnumbered, you're wrong.
We have a super majority here on this show between the two of us, so.
Two against one, you're wrong. All right, so
what are you calling your Echo, Tyler? Beautiful.
No.
no, David, we have not derailed yet. We're getting there.
Hey, what up?
Would you actually call it that?
No, but that would be that. I would like that. I'd like to see if I can get that to work.
You could name it a sound effect.
No, I have to make elephant sounds. Give me my news report.
Oh, I think I would. Now that I think about it, if it was like that, I would call mine. Hold on a second, because I feel like that's like my catchphrase before I ask somebody something. Like, hold on a second, and then
You do say that a lot.
yeah.
Huh.
I'd find something pop culture-y to call it. I don't know.
You'd name it after like a robot on TV or something.
Scooty Puff Jr.
Death Scythe. Or Scooty Puff Jr.
Scooty Puff would be a good name.
Scooty.
Hey, I'm Scooty.
Also, like kind of like a dog name, so or a cat name.
See, we're just naming computers after dogs now.
The Labrador
That's all it says.
3000.
Why do you keep updating the bingo board, Taylor?
I'm not doing it, it's Sean.
Oh my god. All right, whatever. Anyway, all right. So
Everything, Sean.
last question. We basically already answered this question, but do you think this would be personally useful to you? You basically both said no. What would you do to make this experience more valuable to you?
If it was free, I would use it.
Well, of course.
That's a horrible answer.
And just being honest, like if somebody said, "Do you want this?" and I was like, "Yeah, I'd pay for it," and they're like, "No, you can have it." As like tell us what you
How
think
much
about
would you have to pay? What would you pay for this device in its current state?
$50.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Basically the cost of a Bluetooth speaker. I realize that's like undercutting it, but
Well, that
That's
to me
pretty much all
sounds
I
like
use
the
it for.
$100 price tag that they were previously selling at. It sounds like a good range then.
I
Maybe.
feel like there's like more connectivity they could do with it. Like considering the fact that Google, what is it like the Google Chrome bit that you can put in your television or whatever. What's that thing called? I forget what it's
Chromecast,
called.
yes.
Yeah, the Chromecast. Like that's $35, and this thing can't even do that. Like it can't project itself anywhere or do anything. I think. Like,
yeah, they have their own version of the Chromecast. If they could integrate the two, and so you could like tell Alexa to play something on one of your TVs, that would be sweet.
right.
That'd be next level.
Yeah,
But you know, of
I
course,
mean-
they're hopefully going to do that. You know, that's
right.
That's
If
probably
it worked with more Amazon devices, like if it could communicate between a bunch of them,
Mhm.
I'd be really interested in it. But as a standalone, it's kind of boring.
Mhm.
okay. That's it.
Cool. Well,
20
then,
somethings don't like Echo.
but you know what 20-somethings do like?
Spiders.
pop punk.
Webs.
Oh, okay.
Eating their insides.
Yes, and eating spiders, insides, and webs and stuff. So I want to talk about pop punk, and specifically I want to talk about this phenomenon called the pop punk voice. I sent around an article that I think Jack shared with me. Shouts out to Jack, if that was him. But somebody was like a pop punk fan and wanted to see if a linguist could analyze the pop punk voice. If you're not familiar, that's the Tom DeLonge, "Where are you?" type voice. There's a really great stand-up that we watched before the show that I'll link in the doobly-doo, talking about what pop punk voice sounds like. So first, do you guys want to give your best pop punk voice for the viewers? Because I think Tyler has the really good one.
No.
Do it, Tyler.
Which,
Come on, Tyler. Peer pressure.
Peer pressure.
well, peer pressure me isn't going to make it work. Which one are you talking about?
Just
Whichever
do a
one's your
pop punk
favorite.
voice.
Catching things, eating their insides, decision to call you. Hear your voice of treason. Stop
That's so
this
whiny.
tonight. Don't waste your time on me, you're all.
That's
Voice
about enough.
inside
We
my
don't want to get
head.
sued. Sean, do you have a pop punk voice?
See, I don't go for that song right away. I go for Always when I think about my pop punk voice. All
Okay.
night, always. That's like the first thing I go for all the way.
It's always the elongated vowels for sure.
Yeah.
So, is there a pop punk voice, or is Tom DeLonge just a really bad singer? Because we all sang Tom DeLonge songs.
I don't think he's a bad singer. He just has a really distinctive voice.
Oh, Catherine says that she was the one that sent the article. Sorry, Catherine, for not attributing that to you.
Whatever.
Next week on Taylor's Dead to Catherine.
She says, Taylor, it was me that sent that article about the linguist, ex-pop punk. Maybe someone else did it, but I did it also. And then in all caps, read my tweet. So there you go, Catherine. I read your tweet on the show. So does Tom DeLonge have a bad voice, or is the pop punk voice a real thing?
Isn't it any more real than the screamo voice or like the heavy metal grindcore voice?
Well, that's my question. It's like, do you think there
I
are
mean,
enough
yes,
other
yes,
people?
okay, yes, it is. I guess I shouldn't have answered in terms of a question. I should have just said yes.
Tonight,
Tyler.
you kill me. I know you do. You have to do. I can tell.
Hey, what song are you singing there, Tyler?
Oh no.
It's not that. It's what band are you talking about?
Don't say it. You can't put it on the board.
I mean,
It's
I
an
would.
obscure reference. What?
That's not obscure at all, but okay.
We got to make them work for it, you guys.
Just like Sean said, I would say that it's pretty much. I mean, every genre has its own like style. You know, it all gets like distilled after a while. You kind of like have like tropes, you know, of the genre. So you know.
So you think there is a pop punk voice, and it's just
Yes.
a distilled thing from the genre?
Yes, but I mean, it's obviously also like scene based. And like, you know, based on the timeline, because like early pop punk isn't gonna sound the same as a later pop punk. Because like the Wonder Years don't sound like Blink-182 at all, you know. But obviously inspired by.
Dad Varsity Font.
That's right. Townsville hardcore.
So we already kind of covered this, but do all genres have a voice? And what's your like favorite and least favorite genre voices? I think almost all genres have a voice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously you have outliers in there, but for me, my favorite genre voice at the moment is the like, I guess it's second or third wave emo or whatever we're calling it. Bands like Modern Baseball and Front Bottoms, and they can't sing all that well, but they kind of sound like guys going through puberty, and they have really wordy lyrics. That's just, I don't know, I really like that aesthetic right now. My least favorite genre voice is probably the trap, like radio rap voice, where you just say like really short 2 or 3 line lyrics and then have a vocoded chorus. And so you're saying like "We didn't boys," and you're not actually saying anything. You're just like yelling catchphrases. It really bugs me.
We're the boys. We're the boys.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Where they sound like they have a speech impediment, but really they just... It's all about the style, man.
Yeah. Maine. What do you guys think? Favorite genre voices, least favorite genre voices?
Yes, genres have voices. Favorite right now is definitely any shoegaze rock accent, which is kind of clean. The worst is probably any point in pop music, particularly, I don't know, the one that just I hate the most, I still can't stand to this day, is Aqua.
Man, I haven't thought about Aqua in forever. Wow, that's Barbie Girl, for those who don't remember.
Okay. I never actually took the time to listen to any of their other songs, so...
They're all awful.
That is probably the worst. Like, it haunts me in my dreams.
Tyler?
I don't know if I have a particular voice I'm really into right now, but I mean, I'm listening to Flat Duo Jets to, like, kind of absorb more of that White Stripes influence, and I've also been listening to White Stripes, and
Aww.
I know, Baby's first alternative rock album, I know.
What's your favorite genre voice, Tyler?
You know, I feel like I have... I'm going to probably sound really uneducated, but it's probably... It's not... What is it? It's not death metal, but it's like it's the one that sounds really gurgly. It's kind of like
like black metal.
It might be. It's what is it?
Can you give us an example, like a band?
Is it Children of Bottom? Maybe.
Yeah.
It's like they're not like symphonic.
I know what you're talking about.
That's the genre that I'm least familiar with, so.
It's almost like I feel like one man metal kind of personifies, I think, what you're talking about there.
But yeah, but I mean, I like most metal sounds, like different like growls and screams and stuff like that. But like in particular, that one, it's very like gravelly. It's like it's like they're just kind of talking, but they're like also like gurgling. And, right.
That's fair.
That's why I would say.
We're kind of touching on this already, but do certain vocal techniques turn you off, like certain voices? Do they turn you off of whole artists or genres? Or get you really excited about whole artists or whole genres?
Oh, by the way, it wasn't Children of Bottom, sorry. I'm bad.
It was or wasn't?
It was not.
No.
I feel like music turns me on to stuff more than the vocals does.
Oh, Cradle of Filth. There we go.
Oh, okay.
That's what it was.
See, certain vocal styles will just completely draw me in, even if the music's not really doing it for me. Like, I don't know, there are just certain types of vocal delivery that really get me. There's this, like, strange kind of chopped up vocal sampling that's going on in some parts of house music right now that I'm really into. The new Jamie XX album has a lot of that going on it. I just found this artist called Depth Effect that does some really cool, like, chopped up and vocoded vocals that I'm really into. And that's, like, drawn me into those albums that I may not have otherwise listened to because I'm not really digging house right now. But at the same time, like, overly screamy stuff just turns me off.
Incorrect.
Come at me. I'm just not into it.
It's okay, Taylor. No,
That's
you're
all
not.
right.
What about you, Tyler?
What was the question?
Are there certain voices that you really enjoy and will like get you to listen to something, and others that just completely shut you down?
I would say anyone that kind of dual vocalist usually does it for me right off the bat. If there's two different
Ooh,
people,
yeah.
usually is engaging. I think stuff like Enter Shikari, where they kind of like scream a little bit, got a little bit of just kind of like shouted vocals, kind of does it for me. I haven't listened to Every Time I Die in a while, but they were like one of the first bands that kind of got me into like the mixed vocal styles where he kind of sings but also does a little scream at the same time. That really gels with me. Except for it just kind of gets a little, it gets a little tiring after a while of listening to someone scream at you for like an hour. But those are typically the vocal styles that really engage me. Ones that are dynamic, they aren't just kind of like the same thing every time, or they switch up vocalists. So.
So I'm curious. Everybody seems to be listening to different things right now. What are your like favorite vocalists of the moment? I mean, you don't have to know names, but like, what act has the best vocals for you at the moment?
Well, I mean, I've been listening to Girl Talk for a few days after the
For last week's episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've listened to all day, so I'm just like anything,
Everything.
varied.
I'm really liking Open Mike Eagle right now. I know Seth, who's watching right now, has also been digging Open Mike Eagle. Interesting rapper. He kind of breaks down into like speech or even singing in the middle of verses and then goes back to rapping, which I think is really interesting. It's just kind of something different. Sean, anybody jumping out at you right now?
The singer from Fever the Ghost. I like his voice. I like the new Tame Impala voice a lot because he seems to be using a lot of synth on his voice, and I like that. Who's this? This is gonna be really dumb. I'm gonna get like. This is a talk about dumb moment. Who's the lead singer for Led Zeppelin?
Oh, Jimmy Page?
No, Robert Plant.
Robert Plant. Sorry, wow, I'm awful. How did I not know that?
I thought it had to be one of the two. I wasn't about to be wrong, so I asked. So probably Robert Plant. I feel like if I want to sing in the shower, I always go to Led Zeppelin.
Getting the let out?
Yeah. With the exception of the Immigrant Song, I cannot hit that. I cannot hit that at all.
Nobody can do that like he can.
But I mean, let's talk about Zeppelin for a second. I like that. I'm not sure what happened or what is happening with their like records being like released and used commercially or whatever, but they've been like sort of like not in like the public spectrum for a while, and I'm like, good, because I know everyone's gonna hate me, but I actually like AC/DC just a little bit, I know, right? But
it's almost as bad as liking Interpol.
Those are not the same thing, but okay.
They're both awful.
But what I was saying was, I feel like the reason you probably hate AC/DC disproportionately is because like Target and like department stores like got their merchandise and they were like all over the world for like a little bit. You heard their songs all the time and stuff. So they got like really oversaturated like 10 years ago. But you could very easily say the same thing about Led Zeppelin if all their stuff was all over the place.
No, that's not true. You know why? Because Led Zeppelin knew how to write more than one song.
That's right. That's true. But as we've learned, that if you listen to a song enough times, even if it's good, you probably are going to get tired of hearing it or seeing it.
Beverly Hills.
True.
That's where I want to be.
So underwhelming. They were they were so underwhelming.
I prove my point.
Don't pay money to see Weezer. That's what we're taking away from this.
What?
And AC/DC sucks.
No, it was cool to see Weezer.
They didn't do anything.
They're Weezer. They
Neither
played a
Black Keys.
2-hour set of nothing but singles.
I don't know.
That says something.
I think what we're saying is our hype is disproportionate to the performances at the final performances of every Bunbury Day. Is that what we're saying right now?
Headliners are always just too much hype. Such hype.
There you go.
Speaking of hype, let's talk about some strange fan hype. I don't even know how to describe the set of links that Sean sent us this week. Sean, do you want to tell the people what we're going to talk about?
Yeah, so once again, I always find my topics on Reddit. And there was this, it was like interesting videos on YouTube again, and one of them was a what if video, and it was what if Michael Bay directed Up. I don't know, did you guys watch that video?
Yes.
Okay. And basically it was just like the trailer with it was pretty much if you smashed like Transformers and Up together and made it added some like explosions everywhere.
Lots of explosions.
Which I think we should take a second, sorry, this is a side note, to talk about how I don't think that was really like a Michael Bay thing. The Simpsons were doing that before he was doing stuff. But it was just random explosions, like somebody would fall into a fence and then walk away and then the fence would explode and just burst into flames. So take that. So pretty much I spent like an hour and a half one morning just going around trying to find what if movies, if they were directed by something. So there was another one I put up was what if Wes Anderson directed the X-Men? What if Star Wars was directed by Quentin Tarantino? There was another one, what if Martin Scorsese remade It's a Wonderful Life? It was ironically called The Wolf of Bedford Falls. And then there's some other stuff that I'll get down to once we get to the later questions. I'll talk about it. But
what was that subreddit you got this topic from?
I think it was just like movies or something.
Oh, okay.
Our movies. So my first question is, clearly there would be artistic differences in these films if they were directed by anyone else. But do you think that these movies, because most of them were box office hits for the most part, I mean, or everybody knows it. I don't know if you guys, I haven't seen The Flash, but I've seen all the other movies. Do you guys think that it would have been cool to see these movies kind of done, not in a humorous way by these directors? Would you guys see them?
I mean, it kind of depends. Like, I don't want to see anything Michael Bay directs because I just hate Michael Bay. I think I do. I really do.
We know, Taylor. Everyone does. Welcome to the crowd.
Yep. I don't know. I thought the French New Wave Flash, where it's really depressing, looked kind of promising. I would like to see kind of a superhero movie where like the superheroes have to deal with mortality and it's kind of sad. I think that'd be an interesting film. Probably not a successful film, but interesting.
Are you talking about the Ingmar Bergman?
Yeah, Ingmar Bergman directs The Flash.
Yeah.
Wes Anderson X-Men just seemed completely ridiculous to me. Tarantino Star Wars, completely ridiculous. I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of hit or miss. Like, some of them look good, some of them look plausible, some of them were just ridiculous YouTube videos.
What about you, Tyler?
Okay, so I would love to
unleash the hatred.
Right. Well, I'm just hating on Taylor, so sorry.
You know what? Fine.
Anyway, so I would love to see a Wes Anderson styled superhero movie that's like wasn't just like, I don't know. I think my problem with like superhero movies in 2015 is that they all feel sort of like the samey. You know, it doesn't feel like there's any sort of like different spins on them. You know, I feel like Guardians of the Galaxy was refreshing and nice. You know, it was like it was a little pop culture-y, you know, had like an interesting soundtrack, a nice visual style, you know, like the aliens were all like weird and didn't make any sense. Like lots of the other like superhero movies are like very serious and very like action movie-y. You know, they lack a sort of like different perspective. So seeing like Wes Anderson movie where it's just like some people that happen to have superpowers and they're trying to figure out how to use them and they're all quirky and they don't understand, you know, I just wanted to see a different vignette almost, you know, and just like a Tarantino sci-fi movie sounds great, you know. He did Django Unchained, which is great, you know. That like felt like his spin on that kind of movie. Inglourious Bastards, you know, it's like a slightly humorous, a little more serious kind of like spin on a World War II movie. So
yeah, I think of all of them, Tarantino is the most likely to, you know, go off and make a space opera or just like do this sort of thing. But seeing it juxtaposed with Star Wars, which is something that like I am really close to, I don't know, that just felt wrong to me.
Yeah, I think I would want to go see. I like Wes Anderson a lot personally, so I think he would have a cool take on a superhero movie. Like
Bill Murray would probably have to play the superhero though, and it would be really sad.
that would be awesome.
That's
I would be
okay.
all about that.
See, that's what I mean. I think it would be different than like a Wes Anderson superhero movie. A Wes Hero movie would be. I think it would be really different than a lot of the superhero movies that we watch on a regular basis that are all like very Michael Bay-esque and action-y and stuff like that. Like I like Tyler's idea of like superheroes finding themselves having normal everyday superpowers.
What if a superhero movie was about a guy with powers, but there was no crime to fight, and he just like was forever a freak, and he just worked at like Kroger, and just like having like an existential crisis, like I could do so much.
But he can't let anybody know or else they're gonna kill him.
Right, he's also a freak.
And he's in
just
love.
flipping
He's in love
burgers
with
and,
somebody who is also as super freakishly hero powered.
There you go, and it's quirky, and they fall in love.
Mm-hmm.
See, that seems like it would almost have to be Juno-esque, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I would totally be down with that movie. That sounds great.
That's kind of like Kick-Ass
Which
was
put
a
Michael Cera
nice
in it.
movie.
Kick-Ass was great.
Yeah. So I mean, it was like a different perspective. You're like, oh, it's just the guy that has some steel bars in his body.
Okay, so the next question is, what movies would you like to see remade by a different director? What movies, who would the director be, and why do you think they would be great? So just to give an example, hold on, I already posted one that I wanted to see redone. I just want to read it. Oh crap, oh, I lost it. Where did I post that under Slack?
I want to see a Godzilla movie directed by anyone else but the guy who directed the Godzilla movie that did the latest one. But I actually would like to see like a giant. Well, I think Guillermo del Toro. I butchered that name. Sorry. I thought he did a great job with Pacific Rim, and I would like to see him do just Godzilla. But I'd like to also see maybe a different perspective of like a Godzilla movie from someone else. A Godzilla quirky love story by Wes Anderson. Now, I don't know, I'm not actually that familiar with like directors other than like the big generic names that we all kind of know.
I think I would want to see some collaboration between directors, which isn't something we see as much anymore. There was a period in the mid-2000s where you had directors working together on projects. Sin City is a really cool example of that, where you had, I can't think of his name. I don't remember who the primary director for that was, but then Guillermo del Toro did a scene, and somebody else did a scene, and like it makes for an interesting movie. The Grindhouse movies kind of did that to a certain extent. I would love to see like Michael Bay work with Del Toro on something. I think that would be really fascinating. I think this would never work, but I would love to see Spielberg and Tarantino collaborate on a project. So that it could be big and epic and Oscar baity, but also have really punchy dialogue.
So my example was I want to see Wes Anderson redo Death Race 2000, which Taylor and I watched together, but I don't know if you've seen that, Tyler. I think we've talked about it on here before.
Classic.
That's part of Grindhouse, right? Isn't it?
No.
Okay, then no, I haven't seen
This is the old one. This is the one that was like it was made in
From
the
the 70s.
No.
And it's just a movie. It's like a live published game. That's kind of like the remake that they did of Death Race in the prisons, but it's got Sylvester Stallone in it, and pretty much just people driving around and running people over for points, and then it like follows their adventure and them killing other people and stuff.
And it's really campy.
Yeah, I just think
great.
it has a lot of like great Wes Anderson dialogue.
It kind of does, yeah. I think a Wes Anderson action movie would be really fun.
And it's got this really muted palette, like color palette too. That would be like really Wes Anderson. So.
You know, I would like to see a David Fincher some kind of political, like these movies like White House Down and Olympus Has Fallen and all of these stupid political disaster movies. I want to see David Fincher take one of those because he's done such a cool job with Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and Gone Girl and Social Network, like making really eerie, dark character pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see him do something like political corruption or some kind of like terrorist plot movie, but do it in a way that doesn't feel sensationalist and dumb like Olympus Has Fallen.
I want to see David Lynch remake any Disney animated movie.
I will see just about anything David Lynch does. Just about anything. I'm not going to watch Eraserhead. I refuse to do it.
David Lynch directs like Cinderella, but in a modern way.
That would be terrifying.
Yes.
Ugh, I can't. That just weirds me out even thinking about it. Tyler is looking confusedly at his camera.
Nope.
Who's directing the new Star Wars movies?
J.J. Abrams.
Oh, yeah, there's the other name, the big name.
I like J.J. I want to see another Spike Jonze movie soon, too. He always makes really bizarre and interesting things.
Okay, so I think we can move on to my third question now. So knowing what you know about the movies, would you say that the parody trailers actually make sense with the actual plots of these movies that they parodied? Because you guys have seen it. Like, did the Wes Anderson movies, like, remake still make sense with the X-Men that we all saw? Do you think that, or is it just kind of, like, too crazy and out there?
I mean, they have to be to a certain extent. I think that Tarantino's Star Wars really, like, overhyped. It was just, like, every action scene from Star Wars cut together.
Right.
Which is kind of like a George Lucas Star Wars trailer. Actually, I'll link below to the George Lucas cut of the new Star Wars trailer. Have you guys seen this?
No. Actually,
they took the J.J. Abrams trailer and they just added in a bunch of horrible CGI that George Lucas would do to the special editions. Like a bajillion TIE fighters just flying around everywhere and like cartoon characters singing in the background. It's really dumb. But yeah, I think for the most part they were pretty faithful. The Wes Anderson and Tim Burton porno videos that you sent were a little out there.
We're gonna get to those. We got hold on. That's the next question.
Okay, then I'm gonna stop talking and we'll talk about that.
And obviously the Up one didn't make any fucking sense, but that's just...
I forgot about that, yeah. It's hard to make a plot make sense when you just blow everything up.
Well, also the plot of Up is
Minimal at best.
pretty streamlined. Yeah, I mean it's just about a guy, a dog, and a kid in a house going to some place.
Guys,
Three-fourths
I mean,
of the movie.
if you
houses forever.
after I watched that movie though, and like when you watch the trailer for Up, you don't see the fact that he's like in peril and has to battle the airship guy. But when I was watching the trailer and there was all the explosions happen, I was like, minus the explosions, I thought that was actually kind of a okay
A true
trailer for
trailer.
that movie.
Right.
That you didn't have to hide all this. You didn't have to like hide the actual movie like most trailers do.
Well, and that's a whole different thing of like, should you watch trailers? Does spoiling the plot in the trailer ruin a movie? We don't need to get into all of that.
Right. But I mean, like that's. But I was thinking about they have like I don't know. Did you guys see the commercials for that new Amy Schumer movie that has oh crap, what's his name? He was on Saturday Night Live for a long time. He's been in a lot of movies. It's got LeBron James in it too. Guess not.
LeBron James is a movie?
Yeah. They play during the playoffs a lot, but it's when you in the playoffs one in the playoffs commercial they make it seem like like Will is trying to like fall in love with Amy, but in the actual movie, Amy's trying to avoid being with any guy, period, and Will is trying to win her over, and LeBron James is like a side actor there. And that just really made me mad because I was like, well, I wanted to see it because I think that Amy Schumer and Will Hader are really funny, but if it's a story about Amy Schumer not wanting to fall in love, now I totally want to go see it. Because Amy Schumer is hilarious.
Did you see that she actually was approached for The Daily Show and turned it down?
What? No.
Yeah, she didn't want to be tied to doing a show every night.
Oh.
Which,
Well, that's another topic that I could go on and on about.
Right.
yeah, I just can't believe that would have been a great show.
Okay, so let's do the last question. So there also was these two parody videos that were done kind of like what ifs, but instead of a movie, it was what if this particular director did a porno. The only two that were on there were what if Wes Anderson did a porno, which was hilarious, and then what if Tim Burton did a porno, which was also pretty hilarious. So my last question was, what if Michael Bay did a porno? What? Go.
Just lots of like 360 camera angles and like out of like a plane. It's like flying. And like they're in love, but also greatest rivals.
And also Linkin Park is playing in the background.
And
also
there's fighter
robots,
jets.
car, or both.
Or robots doing it.
Think of all the things they could explode. You could blow up everything.
No. That's the first thing I thought too. Well, not that everything would explode, but there would be, because you know how in all of his movies there's always these explosions and you have to see them from like a bunch of different angles. There would be like a 10-minute long money shot in a Michael Bay porno.
There you go.
I can't believe this is a thing we're talking about right now.
Explosions galore.
I mean, it would almost have to be just a trailer though, right? Because like any good Michael Bay movie, it's basically just the movie trailer, but for 2 hours.
Well, I mean, aren't like real pornos like they're like actually long and they have like they have like tens of scenes in it, but there's like in between those there's like lots of like boring dialogue that no one gives a fuck about, you know. So I think they could be.
So you're saying that Michael Bay is perfectly suited for this?
Yeah,
Because
I
his
think
movies are
I
just
think it would.
explosions
This would be
and-
really entertaining.
they're like from rebel, or they're from like opposite like military factions, and they come together because they love each other. You know, they shouldn't, and you know they like try to kill each other, but then they just do it.
And
Like,
then they blow up the White House.
With their sex, yeah. Because there's like a bomb. That's what it is. To activate the bomb, they have to do it because he's like the key and she's like the other part, and then bam.
This sounds like the Fifth Element now.
It's
This seems like the most awful pitch session ever. Like, you're standing in the boardroom and you're getting all animated and like drawing on whiteboards, and the executives are just staring you down.
Well, yeah, because the only thing that's up there is like.
But then they die. Then they die for their love.
Smashing Pumpkins can write the theme song for that.
That's right. No.
Yeah, it'll be. No, it'll just be like that song that they did for Batman Forever. They'll just reuse that song. They'll just still have the rights to it.
I think my idea is the best, but that's okay.
I would ask people to tweet in about this, but I don't think they want to put those
this is
ideas
the plot
on
of
Twitter.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Thank you, Catherine. That was a sexy movie, right? I never saw it, but I assumed it was sexy from the trailers that I saw.
If you feel like your employment can stomach tweeting in your ideas about, you know what? No, please don't tweet these into us. We don't want to know.
Us. No.
Okay, let's talk about anything else right now. Shameless plugs, gentlemen. What do we have this week? We'll start with Tyler. What shameless plugs do you have, Tyler?
Hold on, just 1 second.
Fine, I'm going to go to Sean because you're not ready.
That's fine.
Sean.
I don't want
James
it.
Bond.
I want to wait on Tyler.
Sorry,
The worst.
I opened the window and my computer got tanked. So.
Okay, Tyler.
We good?
Shameless plug, go.
Can you understand?
Yes.
Alright, we're back. Alright, you can find me at TDR Design on Twitter and on Tumblr. You can find my website at tylerdreed.com. You can email me to work with me at tylerdreed@gmail.com. Working on a thank you card for my graduation party, still doing that. It'll probably be done at the end of this week, and it'll go on the website, and it'll be super great, and you should check it out and hire me. Bye-bye.
Wait, you're having a graduation party?
I already did. It already happened. Don't worry, it was just my family. It was really boring.
Oh, okay.
Just kidding. It was a very nice party.
Sean, shameless plugs.
I'm Sean.
Hey, what up?
Find me on the internet.
Forever.
I was on my Tumblr a little bit this week doing stuff.
What is your Tumblr, Sean? How can they find you?
You can't. Don't worry about it.
Just find them on Meerkat.
Tumblr.com.
Meerkat.
Nobody ever follows me on there or watches. Yeah, that's what I should say. I should plug Meerkat because I'm on there probably once every day, auto vlogging my drives from home. Sometimes I talk, sometimes I don't. Most of the time I don't. I feel like I've gotten a spike in watchers this week though. I usually have about 40 to 60 people watch every time I drive now, which is kind of cool.
So repeat customers or new people?
It's new people a lot. People like to creep on people driving.
Nice.
I don't know if it's creeping as much as it's like people just watching stuff. So if you're not on Meerkat, I highly recommend going on there and just checking it out. It's pretty neat. You can watch people do dumb stuff, like talk to their own faces and be all into themselves. But sometimes people are on there doing cool other things too. So find out next
Reggie
week.
Watts is killing it on Periscope. If you're not following him.
Reggie Watts.
Yeah, he's a trip. Shameless plugs from me. You can follow me on Twitter. My thing is on the screen at TCOLMSTEAD. You can also follow the show at Dudes Brunch. Follow the show. We're nice. I don't think anybody got bingo this week. If they did, you should tweet in.
No, there's no way you could have.
Well, guess we'll have to wait until next time. But we do have a big shameless plug on behalf of the show. This is episode 18, and for our episode 20, we're going to do another special episode like we did with episode 10. But this time, it's viewer's choice. So tweet in or comment in on Facebook what you want us to talk about. We will take the 3 most popular topics and talk about them for an hour. You can make us watch whatever you want. Horrible movies, listen to terrible music, read articles about nothing. I don't care.
A critical analysis of Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 1.
We would do it. If you want us to do it, we'll do it. Send in your suggestions. We've already gotten a couple, and they're terrible.
What are they?
I'll tell you guys off the air because I don't want to mention it on the podcast. I don't want to jinx it. All right, so thanks everybody.
Please send us your ideas.
Listening. Send us your ideas for episode 20, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.